welcome to episode 5 of the Boopcast. I just literally forgot what episode this is. And we have a special guest with us this week, Larissa from Nerds of Oz. Would you like to introduce yourself, a little bit about your channel, and yeah.
Yeah, sure. Hi, and thanks for having me. It's awesome.
No worries.
Well, I'm a fellow Aussie Ruby reactor, which is awesome. I don't think there's many of us.
No.
No. Which is great. So, yeah, I've been doing reactions to Volume 4, and I did Chibi as well. But not the earlier volumes because I already watched them when I created the channel. I only created my channel about 6 months ago. But I do a lot of Ruby stuff, reactions, reviews. I did a couple of figurine unboxings. I got my cosplay going, started. And I do other things like some Loot Crate unboxings and a couple Let's Plays and a couple of vlogs. Yeah.
So her content's cool, her videos are fun, you should go check out the link in the description to subscribe to her channel and follow her on Twitter. Oh, and I forgot to say, we are your hosts, SheNoob and...
Cory.
I knew I was forgetting something. Okay, so, Chapter 5, Menagerie. This was an interesting chapter in a lot of ways. Before we get to that, though, I think a cat has walked on my keyboard because there's a load of zeros on the screen. What do you want, Kira? We have questions from viewers, that's right. Sparky510 Games has asked, to do with Chapter 4, what was both your favourite and most shocking moment because 4 had a decent amount of both? Now I have to remember what was in Chapter 4.
Well, I think easily the most shocking moment was what Tai Yang said to Yang.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, she took it really well.
She did.
I certainly wouldn't have. Favorite moment? Oh.
I mean, I like seeing Raven again.
Yeah.
Just because we've only seen her like 2 other times.
I think my favourite moment is when Crow's talking to the bartender. And
that was funny.
As she walks off, he's just looking at her like... I love that bit. I love Crow so much. Yeah. Shocking moment. Yeah, I guess what Tai Yang's little joke to Yang, but it was kind of overshadowed by the fact that she took it so well.
I thought it was more like Farmer Boy with Ozpin. That shocked.
Oh my gosh, yes!
You
I completely... Cory and I forget about that bit all the time because it's so confusing and it doesn't make any sense to us.
I know. I was like, what's going on? Like, what?
Oh, that's obviously the most shocking moment, was that, because we were all like, what just happened? Somebody explain this to me. Oh yeah, so there you go. Patrick Dawson on YouTube asks, thoughts on Crow versus Raven? When Ranger inevitably faces off against the bandits, seeing as Crow's only purpose is to carry Ozpin's staff, i.e. the relic, possibly, and protect the team, I think he has an even worse likelihood of surviving this season than Sun. He's Crow, though.
Yeah, he's Crow. He's gonna be around for a while.
Yeah. Crow versus Raven thoughts. Probably in the future. I don't know about the near future. The possibility of Ranger having a run-in with Raven is looking more and more likely, though.
Yeah.
Just with Nora and Ren's reaction to that symbol in the dirt, now that we know Raven is the leader of that particular bandit clan that destroyed Shion village. Malachi, could you not? My animals are crazy today.
That's why mine are in the other room.
And they normally just sit quietly, but not today. Yeah, so thoughts are probably gonna happen at some point, Ranger versus Raven. It would be an interesting confrontation because Ruby doesn't know who Raven is. So, yeah, if she was confronted with Raven, she would have no idea that Raven is Yang's mother. She would know that she was part of Team Stark because she saw the photo. But,
So Crow also covered up her face pretty quick.
Yeah, I mean, the outfit's pretty recognizable, though.
It's true.
Well, I mean, then again, she didn't even recognize Cinder. When
No.
She was out of her normal outfit.
I mean, that was story convenience, is what that was. Yeah. Oh, I don't know. It could have been the same person. Literally the same hair and eyes. Anyway, we're putting that behind us. Volume 2 problems. And Lauren Gibbs on Facebook asks, am I pronouncing that right? Lauren? I hope so. If the White Fang are compartmentalizing information, if they're lying to Blake's father, they might be lying to new recruits within Menagerie. Could there be a sort of civil war within the White Fang in future? Maybe.
That has always been my prediction for Blake's direction this volume, was starting her own Faunus Rights group.
Yeah, her own uprising against the
Yeah.
White Fang. Yeah.
I could see that. Definitely, since it was sort of hinted at the end of the Faunus World of Remnant as well, like how we've been in one place and it's sort of boiled over.
Yeah. Tensions are high.
Tensions are high.
With recent events, yeah. And now that Blake is aware that they're actually, the Faunus and Menagerie are being kept in the dark as far as the White Fang is concerned, all sorts of things could break loose.
Yes.
I am interested in the fact that her father used to be the leader of the White Fang, but we'll get to that. We'll go through the episode chronologically. There was really only Blake and her family. Well, there was only Blake and her family in this episode. It was a very short episode. It was about 10 minutes. Yeah, so not a whole lot to discuss, but there's a lot of theorizing to be had. So,
it's true.
Yeah, so Blake and Son arrived in Menagerie, and they went to Blake's
Isn't there
house
one more question?
to visit her family. No, that was it. Just those 3.
What about the one on Twitter?
Oh, the one on Twitter. I'm going to look at that on my phone. Apologies, I forgot to add it to the thing. Thank you for reminding me, Cory. My phone didn't tell me it was there. This is from Team Ruby at Kobe68644123. Get a new Twitter name. My question for the Boopcast is, what do you think Yang will do when she finds Ruby? I don't think Yang's going to look for Ruby.
No.
Not yet, anyway. I think
Yang's
Yang's
looking for Raven.
Yeah, I think she's either going to look for Raven or she's going to do her own thing. I think she knows that her sister can handle herself. And she's not alone either, so Team Ranger's more than capable of handling themselves. I don't think Yang's especially worried about her sister.
No.
She's got her own issues.
Exactly. Yang's got her own problems to deal with in the meantime, so I'm sure she's probably concerned for Ruby, but she probably isn't terribly worried because she knows that she can, handle herself. Yeah. So, episode. Yeah, so we got to see Menagerie, finally. It's only been 3.5 seasons. It's very, what I've written down here is it's very oriental looking. It's got a very Asian feel about it.
That's what I thought too.
Yeah. And there's, excuse me, a real sense of, otherworldliness about it, in that this is very much not a part of the kingdoms. This is another place entirely populated by different people with different views on the world. It's very pretty, but again, like Blake said, most of the island is uninhabitable because of the terrain and the local wildlife. And Kira, I'm trying to think here. I can't think while you're sitting there with your head on my leg. Yeah, so, Menagerie's nice and all, and it is their home, but it's also a bit of a slap in the face, and a constant reminder that humans don't think that they're worthy of being treated as the equals they feel they deserve to be treated as. Which is fair enough. Equality is a ongoing battle in real life and in fictional worlds. Also, you may have noticed I'm wearing cat ear headphones. I just got these the other day.
Awesome.
Yeah, they actually light up to change the subject. Boop!
That's so cool.
I don't know why the flashing setting is a thing. It's like it's gonna make everyone have an epileptic fit.
Oh no.
Yeah. The most interesting thing for me was when Sun was trying to point out Blake's house, and she's like, "Oh, it's the big one in the middle."
Yeah.
Huh? I actually didn't. Yeah, the look on. I actually didn't expect Blake to come from a family of, a well-to-do family that has wealth and status in Menagerie.
Yeah.
So,
especially with her early feelings on Weiss in Volume 1.
So she's somebody that has status herself, but she didn't necessarily despise Weiss for her status. She despised her for her family and her views on certain things. Yeah. I just had a complete mental blank. Cory, take over.
Yeah, I mean, that's kind of all there is to say about the village itself.
Yeah.
And so next would come her actually going to her house and, I don't know,
meeting
that
her
door
parents.
knocker was very intimidating.
Oh, I love Sun's humor in these episodes. It's absolutely like, he just says what the audience is thinking. He's like,
yeah.
Well, that was intimidating. And I'm like, yep, that's exactly what I was thinking. Blake's mother is absolutely precious. I love her. Her name is Holly, I think.
Carly, I think.
Carly?
I looked it up in the credits. It was Carly, Kalli.
Kali.
I thought it was Holly when I first heard it, but Carly.
Carly. Okay. I heard Holly as well. Carly. Okay. She's absolutely precious. I love her.
Yeah.
She's gorgeous. Yeah. Blake's father. I'm still wondering what kind of faunus he is. Because he doesn't have any, like, obvious... I'm assuming he probably has claws or something. Because he has no ears and he has no tail. So... but he's incredibly hairy and very large. So... Could be like a bear or a tiger of some description or something like that.
He must be some sort of cat. Oh, sorry, Cory, you go.
No, it's okay. Well, I was going to say, I saw some people on Tumblr talking about how his name is similar to the name of the Black Panther in Jungle Book. And there was somebody else, and then there's somebody who in the Jungle Book is also, like, named Khan, and so they're kind of seeing maybe that parallel.
Okay.
So maybe he's like a Black Panther faunus.
Oh, excuse me. Yeah, that would make sense. The awkward family sort of reunion around the tea table. And Sun incidentally making innuendo.
Yes.
That was like...
so funny.
That was very funny. The dynamic between Blake's son and Blake's parents is basically how I expected it to be. In that Blake's mother's a sweetheart and Blake's father really does not like Sun very much at all. Oh my gosh. Their whole sort of I like Blake's parents though, they seem like pretty good people. Yeah, so Blake's father was the previous leader of the White Fang. Which is interesting. I'm wondering why he stepped down as leader.
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe to fill in for the chieftains, and now he's chieftain, so maybe something happened to the chieftain and I don't know.
Yeah.
Or maybe he was kind of forced out.
He might have been.
Because, like, once again, the person who took over Sienna Khan, like, they're more aggressive and stuff. Maybe they kind of forced him out.
Yeah. Also, we did
they
get...
make it sound like there's, like, a council of people, so it's kind of democratic almost.
He could have been voted out.
Yeah. Also, we did get confirmation from the Fox twins that Sienna Khan is the high leader of the White Fang.
Yes.
Speaking of the Fox twins, are you right there, dog? Honestly. So they're creepy as hell.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What were their names? I've got their names listed as Corsac and Finnick.
Yep. Corsac and Fennec.
Yeah.
Albane.
Albane. Yeah, so must be brothers.
Twins, I think, is the assumption.
Twins?
Yeah.
You and I have always called them the Fox twins, though.
Yeah. So yeah, they're very creepy, and like basically as soon as I saw them, I was like, I don't trust these two at all. They're up to no good. So
just their voices, the tone of their voices, and just the way, like, one of them was continuously going like this, and the way they spoke and glanced at each other, like, they're up to no good.
It kind of reminded me actually of the cult in Hot Fuzz, where like everybody's they're all so nice to your face, and they're too nice, and you're like, something's up here, and then it'll turn out to be a cult. Yeah. Oh, going back to the little family meeting at the table, I laughed my head off at Blake's face when Sun was like trying to, backpedal a bit on his accidental innuendo, and Blake just looks at him like, like, what are you doing? Stop talking. And then Carly was like, I like him, and Blake just goes, Mom! That's hilarious. Yeah, it was funny seeing Blake. I'm loving Blake's expression in this volume so far, which is something we haven't seen a lot of from her previously.
And her ears. It was constantly up and down and moving.
Her ears are adorable. I love her ears. I hope she never puts a bow back on ever. Her ears, they haven't seen enough screen time. I'm loving them. I never want them to go away. They're so cute! Yeah, so Menagerie is apparently in the dark as to the extracurricular activities of the White Fang. They're not being told as much as they should be. Menagerie
is.
Yeah,
communication's down.
Yeah, exactly. Like, Menagerie's very cut off from the rest of the world now. And it seems they have previously been quite cut off because, they haven't heard about what the White Fang have been doing. These two Fox twins. Yeah, exactly. These two Fox twins have obviously come in and spread their bullshit. And, I guess, Menagerie's that little, piece of heaven that, they just don't really give a crap about the worries of the rest of the world. Which gives me a bad feeling for Menagerie's future.
Yes. They're very secluded down there.
Yeah, it's probably not
isolated.
gonna last too much longer, I don't think. So, Sienna Con. First of all, Sienna's a terrible name. It sounds like a crayon. I just hate that name, Sienna. What do we think is her deal? Because she's the one who has been instigating all of this aggressive, violent behavior through the White Fang. What is her deal?
She's probably just one of those people who thinks that, we can't peacefully make change. We have to force people. We have to show them that we are a force to be reckoned with, so they will respect us. Even though they'll respect us because they fear us, they'll still respect us.
Yeah. And to be fair, I can see her point of view, totally. If that is her point of view. I can see the point of view of all of the faunus. But there's a line, and they've well and truly crossed the line. Definitely. So, now, in the first war, the humans were the instigators. They were the ones at fault, but this time it's the faunus who are at fault. Because they're the ones instigating all the violence and the aggressiveness. It's probably pretty unreasonable to ask humans to treat another race equally as them, because humans as a collective are not really capable of equality. Which is sad, but it's true. You know, there's too many different types of people that believe too many different things, and it's true not just of the real world, but of basically every fictional universe ever. It's just human nature to fear and dislike something that you don't understand, or something that's different. And it was a part of the agreement upon the end of the war that the Faunus would be treated equally, and they weren't. But the fact that they weren't treated equally was up to individuals, not up to humans as a collective species.
That's right.
Yeah, so, you know, I can see where they're coming from, but at the same time, they're totally going the wrong way about it. And as Blake said in Volume 1, once the White Fang started fighting back, the Faunus were being respected, but out of fear. They were being treated equally out of fear rather than respect, rather. And even, like, that hasn't solved everything. Like, Carden was racist towards the Faunus.
That's true, yes.
In a world where the White Fang exists. I guess because he felt like, you know, he could do it and get away with it because he thought he was safe in Beacon. Yeah, really safe. Well, I guess it's kind of ironic that the White Fang were the ones to come and destroy the school then, because he was probably like, oh shit, maybe I should have kept my mouth shut. Yeah. The last thing I've got written on here is Tyrion showing up at the end of the episode.
Yes.
He's so creepy.
I hate his laugh.
I know, his laugh is like... I just want to do this. I'm like, ugh. I feel like I need to shake him off. He's so creepy. It just makes me convulse uncontrollably.
I don't like him at all.
I'm really worried for Ruby. I'm really concerned.
Same.
Yeah, he is not far behind them.
He's really not far at all.
No, well that's it.
I'm really worried. I'm so concerned. I mean, she does have Crow sort of watching out for her, so any confrontation she has with Tyrion probably isn't going to amount to much. But just because of what
coming soon.
Yeah, it is coming. Just because of what Tyrion said in the first episode about, you know, an eye for an eye, I was like, oh my god. Don't tell me he's gonna gouge out Ruby's eye.
Yeah, that's what I thought. They were like, oh no.
It's just, I'm so concerned for Ruby, because, you know, she hasn't had anything especially bad happen to her yet.
That's it.
It's all very worrying.
It is very worrying.
Yes. So, do you have anything else written down there, Cory, that we did cover?
I don't know. I have here about how we have more of an idea about the structure of the White Fang now with the High Council and the High Leader, and then like they refer to each other as, you know, Brother Adam and Sister Ilya, like, and how that's kind of weirdly cult-like.
It is very culty. The whole thing is very culty.
It seems weirdly out of place for everything we know about them, for them to be like, ah yes, Brother Adam is here to visit. It seems weird for, like, you know, a Faunus rights group and everything that we know about them to be almost religious.
I mean, there's obviously many different sides to the White Fang, depending on which area you're looking at, and which region they're in. Excuse me. And, they do have a leadership of some description that sits around a table and makes all the decisions. You know, it's like any army, really, but it's more like a cult than an army. And, yeah, it's weird, like, religious cult, psychopathic vibes. Like, they don't really know what they are. They're just a gathering of a species that all thinks that the situation needs to be handled in a different way, kind of.
They referred to Adam as adept. I thought it was addict, but I think they referred to me as an adept as well.
Adept,
which is interesting.
yeah.
Adept, yeah.
I thought they said addict.
Yeah, I thought they did add it too.
So did I the first time I heard it. An adept. So like whether that's just a description of his skill or whether it's an actual rank or title or something, we don't know yet. But Blake's father knows of Adam, which is probably to be expected because Adam was Blake's mentor for some length of time. So. The whole thing is confusing to me because Blake stayed on with the White Fang after her father stepped down as leader, and the White Fang started becoming the aggressive psychos that we know today. So, obviously she didn't stick around for that long, but yeah, I just find it interesting that she stayed on after her father stepped down and after things started going to shit a little bit.
Maybe
a
because
lot.
of Adam.
Yeah.
Maybe she did have a relationship with him, I don't know.
I guess she felt some kind of obligation towards, her people. And like she said, she was born into it because her father was the leader and... I guess she felt an obligation to stay until she realised that they'd gone much too far, and she didn't want it. It wasn't what she believed in anymore. So,
I think she stayed because she, still believed in fighting for Faunus rights. Because, like, she even says in this episode, "Who says I'm done fighting?"
Yeah.
So she still holds that belief. It's just she realized the White Fang isn't the way to do that anymore.
No, she's certainly not done fighting for her rights as a person, but she's not done with the fight against the White Fang either. Yeah. Oh, and the Fox twins are going to tell Adam that she's there now, and that's all going to be really bad. That's going to be really bad.
I have in my notes here, like, why would she just reveal herself to agents of the White Fang? Like, she knew the agents of the White Fang were at the front door. Like, why would she reveal herself when she's on the run from them?
Yeah, I was wondering the same thing as well. But,
it seems to, the rush out. I think she was just more worried about her dad. I think she did it on instinct without thinking it through, which is unusual for Blake, but, yeah.
She probably is aware now that the White Fang are onto her. And she's gonna have to skedaddle. I was kind of annoyed at how short this episode was because we've had 2 break weeks in 3 weeks, and then we got this short ass episode with nothing but Blake in it. I was like, are you fucking serious?
No, we haven't seen Weiss since chapter 2.
I know! I'm like, there better be fucking Weiss next week or I'm gonna lose my shit.
And next week is also, isn't it kind of seeming like it's going to be their winter break episode?
Yeah,
episode 6 is usually where they take a break for a few weeks.
Last year,
leave it on the cliffhanger.
Yeah, last year they took a 3-week Christmas break after chapter 6, which I'm assuming they're going to do again this year. I am sticking to my theory that chapter 6 is going to be the SheNoob family concert, and something's going to go terribly wrong. Because they can't...
Right?
They can't just have this big concert and something's going to happen. It's all going to be bad. It's all going to be terrible.
It's true.
It's all going to go to shit.
Gray did tweet something. He tweeted... actually, I think it was on his Rooster Teeth page, something about... with chapter 6 that Ranger isn't the only ones on the way to Mistral. It was very, he didn't give out too much information, so I'm thinking we're going to see Ranger in chapter 6, at least a little bit of him.
Talking about Tyrion, possibly?
Yeah, because they did kind of tease that at the end of this episode with the showing of Tyrion.
Tyrion.
Like, I could 1,000% see the next episode being Tyrion catching up with Ranger.
Yeah, I do agree. I reckon Tyrion catching up with Ranger, SheNoob family concert. Next week's episode better be 16 to 18 minutes long or I'm losing my shit. Seriously. This episode was so freaking short. And after waiting 2 weeks, and having waited 2 weeks before that episode... You need to give me more! For goodness sake. It better be a long one next week, especially because it will go away for 3 weeks after that. So...
How are we going to survive?
I know. It'll all be over before we know it. Let's not wish the end on too quickly. Because then we'll be waiting until October again. But what do you want? You were sleeping quietly on your bed. Go back and do that. You've got a grass seed in your gums, dog. Yeah, so... Long episode. There better be Weiss. That's all I'm going to say.
Yeah.
It better be long and there better be Weiss. I'm so annoyed at how little Weiss we've had, and we've not even seen her get her weapon out once. Ugh, I'm so annoyed. And Weiss is my favourite, so I'm like, I need my Weiss fix. Like, all of this other stuff is cool, but where the fuck is Weiss?
Yeah, we've had very little of her.
I know, so little. Yeah, so I'm looking forward to next week. And I'm looking forward to the fact that there is an episode next week.
Yay!
Yeah.
But then we get another fucking break.
Yeah.
There better not be any breaks next year. There will probably be one, but there better only be one.
I'm hoping we'll get one on the Great War, because that was sort of teased in the last one.
Yeah.
A little bit. Yeah, so I'm hoping we'll get one on the Great War, maybe.
A World of Remnant. Yeah, that would be good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Would be. Because we don't know much about it.
No, we only know what we've been told by the characters, really, so far. Mostly Ozpin.
It seems like the natural progression of the World of Remnants, too, because, like, they've done all the different places, and then in the Menagerie one, they talk a little bit about in the Faunus one, they talk a little bit about the Great War, so it seems like a natural progression for it to be the next one.
Yeah.
Yes.
Also, Crow did talk, he did talk a bit about the Great War, and we learned that it wasn't every kingdom against every kingdom, it was actually Mistral and, Vacuum and Veil versus Mistral and Atlas. Mantle,
That's
it
right.
was at the time.
Mantle at the time.
Yeah. So that was interesting. I just assumed that it was just a free-for-all, but no, it was two kingdoms versus two kingdoms, which is interesting. So there are previously established relationships between certain kingdoms. You're very distracting, dog. Just sitting there with your mouth open like... Go away. Oh, I had a thought and then I completely lost it. It went out of my head. Yeah, so... a little bit more about the Great War would be good.
Yes.
Yeah, I just have this horrible feeling, because next week is the winter finale. Something's going to happen. Something big.
Yeah, say something's going to happen.
Something big.
It's going to leave on the cliffhanger.
Yeah, it's going to leave us on this big thing, and then piss off for 3 weeks, and leave us all wondering. Because they like to do that. Because they're assholes.
Yeah. Like last volume, episode 6 was the turning point.
Yes.
It was. It was.
Episode 6 fall.
Like,
oh my god. Volume 3, episode 6 fall. Like, when that, the thing between Mercury and Yang happened, we were all just like, what the fuck? And then it went away for 3 weeks and we were all like, what's going to happen? And then it comes back on a flashback episode and we're like, we need to know. Yeah. Oh man, they love to do that to us. I think they get sick pleasure out of it. Oh, that's what I was going to talk about. I just remembered. We finally got confirmation that the Jean hoodies are available for purchase in the Rooster Teeth store. They are $54.95 US, which is actually not that bad. I'm going to wait till they go on sale because both me and Daniel want one. So, and they've released a bunch of new Ruby merch for the holiday season, and they released a bunch more before that. Including new rubber unbreakable tumblers, and there's a Ruby holiday Christmas tree ornament, which is adorable. But
I saw that.
Yeah. A whole bunch of stuff, including leggings and like all this shit that I just want all of it, but I can't afford. Yeah, so make sure you check out store.roosterteeth.com, link in the description, to see all of the new Ruby merch, because it is beautiful.
This is why holiday tea too. It's so cute.
Oh, this Y t-shirt. Oh, I want it so badly. I want it. It's so cute. Oh, I need that t-shirt. Yeah, so I think that's pretty much covered it all. This is going to be a short one, man.
Yeah, it was a really short episode, though, with not a lot of substance.
Yeah, there wasn't a whole lot in there. There was certainly a few interesting developments, but not a whole lot we weren't already expecting.
We got new characters, though, which is always
good. Yeah. Oh, the other thing was about the intro. The Fox twins in the Volume 4 intro are actually featured in Yang's bit of the intro.
Yes.
So Yang kind of falls backwards, and then there's Adam's face, and then the Fox twins go across the screen. Now, I originally thought it was because they were going to be part of her storyline, but now I'm wondering if it's just because they're associated with Adam. But now I'm also like, they can't possibly be building up to a Yang-Blake reunion already. Surely not.
I wouldn't think so.
No, surely not. It's much too soon. I don't see how they could possibly get there in the time they've got left. Half the volume's nearly over, so... Yeah, but, I mean, I'm probably reading into it too much. Yeah, it's probably... yeah, you know. I'm just so hopeful for a Yang versus Blake confrontation. I don't want to call it a reunion, because, you know, it's gonna be...
It's gonna go smoothly.
It's gonna be a lot of Yang going, "What the fuck, bitch?" Yeah. I don't think this volume...
I was just going to say the music in this chapter. I just want to say the music in this chapter was really, really pretty.
It was.
Especially like when they got off the boat. It was just really... I just really liked it. I love the music.
The score is always fabulous in this show. I rave about the score.
It's just so pretty. And seeing all the different faunuses as well, the different types. You see the ones with like the scales and the faces. There was a lot of bunny ears and fox ones, and it was cool to see all these different faunuses, and we haven't seen many different types.
No, we haven't. I just feel sorry for the 3D modelers, man. It must have taken so long to build all those fucking character models. Oh my gosh. I just looked at that scene and I was like, oh, the work that went into this shot. Oh my goodness. Like, and you see them for like 10 seconds and they're gone. And they had to build every single one. Oh my god. I was just looking at all the work that went into it. I was like, it hurts. Yeah, they've done an excellent job so far with the, especially considering they've moved to a new program and they're fiddling with a new art style, and I just don't know how they manage to improve the show so much every year in the time that they have. Obviously Maya makes it easier to animate, but they had to basically rebuild the show from scratch in the new art style, so... And they had a rendering problem. So, yeah, I'm just floored with the quality of this volume so far.
It's just amazing. It's
breathtaking. Yeah, every shot like that I look at, I can just see all the work that's gone into it, and I'm like, man, these guys... And suddenly I'm not so angry about the break weeks. I'm like, yeah, okay, I see why you need more time. Go on then. But at the same time, I'm like, I need Ruby.
Need more.
I know. It's such a double-edged sword, because I'm like, on the one hand, I really, really, really want the next episode now. On the other hand, I'm like, do I want them to finish it on time? Yes, I do want them to finish it on time. And it'll all be over before we know it, and we'll be waiting till October again, so...
Yeah.
Yes.
I'm excited to see how next volume's going to look now that they've established themselves in the new program with the new art style. Now that they know more or less what they're doing, I'm so excited to see what Volume 5 is going to look like, if this is what Volume 4 looks like. What do you want? Stop interrupting me. So, yeah, so I think that's basically...
We really didn't know what to expect with this volume because it's out of the school. We're out of Vale now, so
exactly. Everything was new and scary, and
yes,
it's so beautiful. It's so pretty.
And I'm glad they've still got the humour, especially with all the facial expressions. So some of the facial expressions have just been so funny.
The facial expressions are excellent this volume. I've really been enjoying them so much. One of my favourites is Jean in the first chapter when the guy's tree arm catches on fire. Break this down!
Bad idea.
Such an amazing face. Oh my goodness. And Sun slow-mo shot of Blake slapping him. He's like...
Yes.
The faces are just incredible. I'm really enjoying the quality of animation. Yeah, I feel like there was something else I was going to bring up and I forgot what that was as well.
I
don't know. I was going to point out that it was weird that they referred to her dad as Your Grace.
Oh,
Your Grace, yeah. Well, he's the chieftain of Menagerie, so... I also feel... I feel like there's some sort of Game of Thrones reference in there, influence in there.
Possibly.
Because they call the kings and queens in Game of Thrones Your Grace. So... and just about everybody in the Rooster Teeth office watches Game of Thrones, so... It's not like a term that you hear that often, Your Grace. It's always like Your Majesty or My Lord or whatever.
Yeah, that's true.
Game of Thrones was really the first time I ever heard Your Grace, and I like it. I
know it was it's an actual like term that was used to refer to lower end nobility.
Your Grace.
But
it just sounds nice. Like Your Majesty is so pretentious.
Yeah, it does.
And Your Highness. What does that even mean? Your Highness. Your tallness. Your Highness? What?
Your very smallness.
Yeah. Yeah. So... Oh, the other thing I was going to mention is if you follow a link in the description, there is a Patreon page you can go to support this podcast on a monthly basis. You can donate any amount that you want from $1 and up, and there are prizes involved, including getting the chance to be on this podcast, which would be cool. So it's not compulsory. If you're feeling generous though, or if you like the look of some of the prizes, then you can go over there, pledge any amount that you possibly can per month. It will help the podcast keep going and help the channel to keep going, help us to build up funds for things like better equipment, and we do want to live stream this podcast at some stage as well, so any support you can provide would be much appreciated, and will help the podcast get better and the channel get better as we go. I also want to say before we go, this podcast has been consistently getting an excellent amount of engagement, and just about every episode has had a steady 1,000 or more views, and Cory and I both want to say how much we appreciate your support of this podcast, and we love how much you guys are enjoying it and enjoying all the guests, and we love doing this, so and it's so much easier for both of us to do this rather than make videos like reviews or videos talking about the episode, because they take so much time and effort to make, whereas we can do this, sit down for an hour and talk to some cool people about a show that we love, and we're so happy you guys are enjoying it, and thank you so much for your continued support. We do appreciate it, and you guys are awesome, and we love this community. The Ruby community is my favorite community.
It's amazing.
It is an amazing community full of incredible people, creative people, and it's given us both the opportunity to meet, you know, other fellow Ruby creators, people like Jeremiah George, who I never thought I'd get to meet, who I've been admiring for several years. People like Larissa, who are new, just starting out, and it gives her the opportunity to get some exposure, and you know, just for us to get together and everybody in the Ruby community to collaborate like this is a really cool thing, and it's awesome, and we appreciate all of the support you give us, and don't forget to share this podcast with anybody that you think might vaguely enjoy it. Yeah, because the more support we can generate, then the more things we'll be able to do with it in the future. Yeah, so thank you all again. Twitter. I'm just trying to think, like, how many things do I have to mention here? Right, yeah, I've done that, yeah, no. So, you can follow the links in the description if you are on mobile, for our Twitters, at Cory11333, at SheNoob087, at Nerds of Oz.
That's correct. Yep.
Yeah. And Larissa's channel's in the description, so make sure you go subscribe to her and support her videos. And, yeah, and next week we will be back for episode 6 of the Boopcast following chapter 6 of Ruby. So make sure you get on our Twitters, get on our Facebooks, or you can go in the comments below and ask questions for next week's podcast. And also, when chapter 6 goes up for sponsors, you can immediately hop onto our Twitters and Facebooks and ask questions there. I will tweet to remind everyone as well. Thank you so much for the questions you have been asking. It's a lot of fun to hear all of your opinions and to discuss them and to give answers to questions. And yeah, it's really cool that everybody is participating and enjoying it so much. So yeah, and subscribe to Cory's channel as well, and subscribe to mine. Cory's been having some issues with his reaction videos. If you guys aren't aware, his chapter 2 and 3 reactions were blocked, weren't they, at some stage?
Yeah.
Yeah. It has been sorted now, hasn't it?
Yeah, it's all sorted now.
Yeah, it's all sorted now, so that his reactions were a bit late, but they are. His chapter 1, 2, and 3 reactions are currently up on his channel.
And 4.
4 is up there, yeah. I was wondering if 4 was up there. 4 is up there as well. Larissa, you've got chapters 1 through 4 up as well now, don't you? Yep.
Yeah, my chapter 1 was blocked, but it's up.
Yeah.
And all the rest have been fine.
A lot of YouTubers have been having problems. I've been fortunate enough to not have any problems, touch wood. Yeah, it's because of YouTube's automated copyright system that picks up, you know, the video in video, and then Rooster Teeth have got to sort it out from there. So yeah, subscribe to Cory, subscribe to Larissa, subscribe to this channel so you don't miss any of the podcasts as soon as they come out, or reaction videos from anybody. And thank you very much for watching, and we will see you next week. And Larissa, thank you so much for being here.
Thank you for having me.
It's been awesome. A pleasure. It's always nice to meet another female Aussie YouTuber, because we are few and far between.
I know.
Yeah. So, yeah, thank you very much, everybody. We'll see you for episode 6 next week. Bye!
Yeah.